Hi everyone and welcome to my June wrap up. It feels quite strange to be talking to you yet again today because I've been taking part in the Cramathon today and I've been vlogging as I've been going along, so I've already made quite a few little short videos today. I'll be combining all of these videos that I make throughout the weekend and putting them together probably not Tuesday, I'm not recording, maybe Wednesday if not Thursday next week, so look forward to those. So my June wrap up. In the month of June I read 13 books. Now in future months if I read a lot of books, if there's an even spread of what type of book they are, I'm going to split my wrap ups up, so I'll have a Kindle wrap up, an audiobook wrap up and a physical book wrap up. However this month, well last month should I say, sorry, was not evenly spread. To be precise, I read one Kindle book, 2 physical books, pretty rubbish too, 10 audiobooks. You can see what sort of reading mood I was in last month. Apparently it was all about the audiobooks last month. So first of all, before I get into any more of the wrap up itself, I need to mention Alchemy 365 by Brenda Lightfeather Marroy. Now as you know, I've been reading this month by month. I started it last month, it was the first month, and last month was relationships. So I just thought I'd quickly mention how I got along with that and how good or indeed bad I thought that particular chapter was. So I found that at the beginning of the month I was enjoying it quite a lot, but towards the end of the month I was a bit like, I was struggling to keep up with it. I was struggling to remember to read it every day. July's been even worse, but we'll go there next month. I was struggling to read it every day. Some of the tasks I thought were fantastic, and I felt like, at least for some of the days, this book really genuinely helped me change my life. It changed how I think about talking to my partner and also how I feel about talking to anyone else. Talking to people how you wish to be treated. But there's more in this than that. Overall I'd say, judging from June alone, I'm not sure whether I'd pick this book up or not. Obviously that's only one chapter, so we'll see how we get on with the rest of these throughout the up and coming months. Then the next quick thing I need to mention in this wrap up is my colouring book. I did say I would show any pictures that I've done throughout each month. So in June I managed to do this. I'm really proud of it, as silly as that sounds. Also, just to stick to more the review side of things, I used felt tip liner things for those, and as you can see the bleeding is almost non-existent. There's a little tiny bit there, I'm not even sure whether you can see it on camera, it's really, yep, just about visible. But generally speaking, I can't complain about this at all. The first book I finished in the month of June was Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. I gave that book 5 stars and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. It was probably my favourite book in the entire, every single book I've read so far. Cassandra Clare, I think that is definitely my favourite book by her. It was fantastic. It kept me guessing all the time. I never knew what was going to happen next. I totally fell for the twist completely. I did not see that coming at all. I was practically crying, almost. Then I was like, oh! But obviously I can't say anything because that'd be spoilers. So I'll move on to the next book I finished, which was City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This one I also gave 5 stars to. I can't remember much about it anymore is the problem. I feel like all these books, because I've read them all together, they're sort of blending all into one a little bit, and I can't properly remember much about this one, except that I know that I loved it and I gave it 5 stars. I can't say much about it again anyway because it's still part of a series. So we'll just jog on to the next book that I finished in the month of June, and that was an audiobook, and that was Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Now I read that book when I was younger. I can't remember what age, but pretty young. I've got a copy of it somewhere. Here. Oh, I'm never going to get that out. It's stuck. But anyway, I've got a copy of that from when I was younger, a children's classic one. And I don't remember hating it, I remember thinking it was okay. So I thought, well, I'll give it a reread via audiobook. Because I got it either for very cheap or for free on Audible, I can't remember which. And so I was like, yeah, I'll give that a go. And I found it painful. I struggled to finish it. I mean, like, I really struggled to finish it. I don't know whether pirate books just aren't for me, because I did read a pirate book earlier this year, the new Daniel Handler one, Lemony Snicket, We Are Pirates, I think it's called. Where have I put it? We Are Pirates, yeah. And I wasn't the biggest fan of that, although I did give that one 3 stars. I feel like the bits that annoyed me about that were the pirate bits. So I'm thinking that maybe pirate books just aren't for me. If you know of any good pirate books, please recommend them in the comments down below. I'd love to check them out and see whether it is a pirate book thing or whether these 2 books just weren't suited to me. The next audiobook I finished in the month of June was The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've never read that book before, and so again I got a copy of it very, very cheap on audiobooks, so I thought I'd give it a go. I enjoyed it. It was quite different to what I was expecting, to be honest. It was a lot more accessible than I expected it to be for a classic. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars. It didn't necessarily astound me. It didn't do anything to offend me. It was just a good book, 3 stars. So then we've got So Long Lollipops by Sarah Lyons Fleming and Julia Whelan, and I gave this 3 stars as well. This was also an audiobook that I got for free. This is the one that was a zombie book. And I thought it was okay. Again, it was just an okay read. I give 3s out quite easily. I find it quite easy to give a book 3 stars. If it does nothing to absolutely amaze me, but at the same time it doesn't do anything to offend me, 3 stars is what a book is probably going to get from me. So then, along with that same star rating theme, I listened to again, sorry, Roman Holiday by Jodie Taylor, and that's part of the St. Mary's Chronicles, and I gave that 3 stars as well because it was okay. Nothing more. Then, I spent a lot of time reading this great big fat hunker, along with The Split Spine, which deeply upsets me. I actually did a book talk on this book. If you want to see a full spoiler-full video, full of spoilers, spoils all of the series, both the Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments, then go and check that video out. I'll link it down below. But to keep this non-spoiler, basically, I thought this was a very good roundup to the end of the Mortal Instruments. I liked how it connected with the Infernal Devices, and I thought it was a good book. It almost made me cry. I don't think I did cry, I think I almost cried. I'm not sure I liked it quite as much as Clockwork Princess, although I did rate them both 5 stars. This one's probably more like 4.75. But yeah, it's a great book. I highly recommend the entire series. If you can get hold of them, then read them. I listened to another audiobook, The Jewel of Dantinos. I can't read my own writing. It's part of the Godling Chronicles by Brian D. Anderson. Again, this one did nothing to... It didn't do much for me, but at the same time it wasn't bad. It was just sort of there, really. So I gave that 3 stars. Then we've got The Hospital, The First Mountain Man Story by Keith C. Blackmore and R.C. Bray. Again, I can't read my own writing. Again, this one, 3 stars. It was nothing special. It was nothing awful. It was an okay audiobook, especially for free. Then we've got Gabriel, 0 Point by Steve Umstead. I wasn't a massive fan of this one, I've got to say. It just did nothing to really grab me. I mean, I know it was for free, I can't complain too much, but it needs to do something for me to get that 3-star mark. It wasn't completely awful, so it wasn't deserving of 1 star, but at the same time I just didn't really care enough, so I give it 2 stars. Then we've got The Undead Deleted Scene by is that Maywood? I can't read my own writing. And Dan Morgan. Another free audiobook, gave it 3 stars. Enjoyed it. Then we've got Love Story, which is from Dead But Not Forgotten by Charlene, however you say her name, please correct me down below, Harris. Part of the Sookie Stackhouse series, it's just a small story taken from that. I got it free on audiobook again. I've never actually read the Sookie Stackhouse books. However, I have watched about the first 3 or 4, I can't remember, seasons of the TV show. and I loved it. I am planning on watching the rest at some point. I just need to catch up at some point. And I also loved this audiobook. The narrator was particularly brilliant. Like, the accent they put on matched, like, it was like I was just watching the TV show, basically. It was brilliant. Can't recommend it enough, especially for a free audiobook. 4 stars. And then finally, the last book that I finished in the month of June was called The Relic Guild by Edward Cox, and this again was another audiobook that I got for free, and I wasn't a massive fan of this one either, to the point where I'm actually thinking maybe I should lower my rating. I gave it 2 stars, but I don't actually remember a single thing about it. Nothing at all. Can't remember what was good, what was bad, anything, so consider that between 1 and 2 stars for that one. So it's a little bit of a disappointing end to a relatively good audiobook month, I think. Please let me know what you read or listened to during the month of June. I'd love to know. I realise this wrap-up's very late, and so you probably all long forgot about June, but I struggled to schedule my videos in this month. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I know I've got quite a few new subscribers recently. Thank you very much for joining me. If you want to leave a comment down below, please do. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. I do upload videos every Wednesday and Friday when I can, which is most weeks. It's rare that I've not been doing it recently. So most weeks there's a video on every Wednesday and Friday, and there's occasionally a bonus video shoved up somewhere in the week as well if I get a chance to. So I'll see you all next week. I do need to do a tag video at some point. I was tagged in a video yesterday, but I'm not sure whether I'll be doing that next week. I might still need to do my June book hauls next week if I can fit those in. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye! Hi guys, and welcome to my June wrap up. It feels really bleh. Are you safe now? Why don't you stand anymore? Are you safe now? Are you safe now? Are you safe now?